One of them or none, right? And I think in this matchup, because they get the chance to play against each other, it will make the difference between which one of them will do it. The matchups are going to be very hard for the teams that lose, as we can see an upset happening, you know, kind of almost every single game at this point in Legends. Now, Dust2 is really great for outsiders, so Spirit have their work cut out for them. But we'll see how they handle the pressure. Ooh. Shots missed here, and Norbert holds on to blue control, and he's a teammate here to support him as well in Jame.
Outsiders prodding at this, and Team Spirit are going to decide to forfeit control of the long corner. Chopper's barely alive at this point. We've got 2 sets of Berettas for Spirit, armored Berettas, may I add. As they float around the map looking for contact. Jump spot down mid, just keeping eyes on barrels, making sure it's way too difficult for anybody to shoot back. And of course, Siren will raise the alarm. Chopper comes in from Catwalk to try and just get a little bit more info. I like that he's running this risk, right? He only has 13 health left over, so why not just try to offer yourself up as what could be critical bits of information. And it is doing exactly that. We've got outsiders corralled towards long. We've got Team Spirit setting up inside A. They just dropped down for a moment though, giving up the position on site. We've got outsiders pressing up along the wall. Siren wants to get these Berettas in position, but they're fumbling it. The boost is slow, and then Fane comes up the ramp, and he's gonna find Siren just sitting on a silver platter. Patsy's gonna grab the dual Berettas instead, and Wonderful looks to come up the catwalk. Chopper still cut off towards long. There's a player inside doors. Outsiders, I mean, they've got everything they need to just close out this pistol easily.
Even very hard for Chopper to get out of long at this point, but he really just has to soon. So a kill will come down. I think Chopper needs a little bit more, and oh, an extra dually frag, and it's 2v3, but the trade comes right back, and there it is. He's loosened up the spot, but Chopper, oh, he has to work hard for that kill, and will eventually get traded.
James' position, at least because there's 2 of them there, eases this one through for outsiders. No kit on Wonderful. He'll find the ramp frag.
Oh, it's actually planted back default, but yeah, no kit.
No time.
So, or back single, I should say. Yeah, outsiders pull this off. So just like the last map where it was a weird one for Navi to take Liquid, you can give them the benefit of the doubt because they come in with so much prep and they have a history of being good on Ancient, even if it's not recent. It sort of makes sense. They still lose. It's kind of the similar deal here for Spirit, where they had the option. This could have ended on overpass. And outsiders are going to be very happy about Dust2. Fame had a great game versus Ents on Dust2 with a 1.66 rating. He's been a standout player to kind of fill the shoes of outsiders. And I talked to Kickert a little bit about this, and he says he doesn't really look at him like Yakinder, but he does say that the playstyle is deceptively similar when you watch him just on the eye test alone. So I think that just kind of makes sense to everybody. Of course, he's a brand new player on the team, but some of the aggressive rifling and the T-side entries, he really is worth his weight in gold. Outsiders on the T side, what we're going to watch for in this half is Jame controlling middle. He's kind of made the blueprint for how to op T side, Dust2, in my opinion, controlling the doors rotation. He has reign terror on so many teams in history by just being so good and so patient, but just active enough to be able to lock down people from going back and forth from the A and B site. And we're looking at a very strong record. I think it's 7-2 right now. Actually even more. 9-3 on Dust2 with a 4-map streak, including the win in the Legend stage over at 16-8. Oh, sorry, no, that was at Rotterdam.
Nade just misses its mark. Smoke will come down in front of outsiders, and it's going to cool them off for another moment. Siren looking to press in. It's not being watched. There is some presence from outsiders down at the bottom of the tunnels. Chopper, ooh, he's found a little pocket here, but gets stuck by Flit, who, if we want to talk about star riflers on outsiders, man, Flit hits. And he's hunting into the A site, will catch contact inside the bomb site. We're down to the 20-second mark. Scout's finding its intended target. Wonderful loses his head to Fame. Kicker follows through. That's the 2 closest defenders down. And all that's left from Team Spirit is just going to have to walk away.
Yeah, very, very close situations there with a lot of those peaks. But that's what it's going to be between these two teams. And even though they haven't played each other one-to-one,
love that.
As was brought up, Chopper has a lot of experience versus Outsiders. But all of these, there's so many kind of mirroring storylines between Team Spirit and Outsiders. Both very good, feared teams, strong individuals, able to kind of reach deep into a scene that a lot of foreigners don't know about and find players that need to have a chance. And they both had to replace incredibly strong kind of elite level players like Degster and Yakinder and still have managed to do it and found success.
I think it's one of those really interesting narratives in the sense that, you know, you're drawing all these parallels. And again, no head-to-head. No head-to-head between what's kind of seen as the CIS region's next up. This best of one, again, I want to repeat, like, it will be something we can refer back to depending on the future of both these rosters. You know, it's funny that Outsiders are considered potential, you know, playoff teams, when in reality, Team Spirit are returning from the previous Majors playoffs. Again, without Degster, huge shoes to fill. Same can be said for Outside. They're in the exact same spot. They're in the exact same pool. This one could really have historic, I think, importance for the CIS region. We'll see.
Yeah, there's definitely pride on the line. I can see that for sure.
It's a really, you know, I think it's a real sleeper pick for all the games that are going on today. This one is really interesting, but low key. It's the fans' match, the connoisseur's favorite. I bet you Maui's frothing backstage right now over the best of one we have at hand.
Yes, he definitely does love an underdog, and it's very exciting to watch new teams come up. And even though the kind of the org and the core of these teams has been around the block, they've been suffering, losing very strong talents and having to start over again to some degree. I think the case, though, with Jame is that he's also always one of the best individuals on the team. Right. You know, he's clearly the most important part of the roster in the sense of opping and IGLing, but not just being some kind of weird support opper. He can be easily a star player, man. They destroyed Fnatic on Overpass the other day. It was just Jame all day long.
I think he went something like 11 rounds without dying. And not because he's hiding in bomb sites, because he's got the most amount of frags, doing what he damn well pleases. And that was to Fnatic, a team that is currently playing in the Legends stage. So bomb goes down on A. And Team Spirit, of course, they'll come through with a bit more pressure here from Patsi. Swinging the scout, but all will be good for Spirit in the sense that they get to save these 3 weapons for the follow-up. And Outsiders will be content with the 3-0 start.
Now, despite losing to Furia yesterday, what a match that was on Mirage. I gotta say, man, Spirit's aimers on this team were unbelievable. I mean, it was just like, it was terrifying to watch how good they were. And Outsiders can, of course, keep up from that perspective. I think if you want to compare, like, let's say Jame and Chopper, of course, Jame is, as an individual, so far ahead. But then the supporting cast for Chopper, you know, 1-to-1 with Outsiders, I mean, it's pretty even, maybe even tilts in terms of pure, like, up-and-coming players who could all be star players on other teams toward Team Spirit. It's very hard to say. This one will almost certainly come down to who's the better team. And, yeah, they've... You know, Spirit, they've decided to take the challenge to Dust2. They, you know, would have known that it's coming, but whether or not they're ready for it is another question. So let's see where this first T round, or the first rifle round, I should say, brings us.
I think it's the perfect place for these teams to duke it out as well, right? We go back to Team Spirit in Antwerp versus FaZe, what was one of the best maps of the Major. We know they can tango, but always with that asterisk. No Degster. Wonderful is great. You know, he's got, I think, an incredibly high ceiling. But we just need to see it proven on the big stages that Counter-Strike has to offer. Little jump spot here from Chopper. Will lose a third of his health, but lays down some utility to keep Outsiders back. And middle belongs to the T side yet again. It's going to draw Wonderful closer. No longer playing with the scout. He's got the bigger cannon. Looks to hammer back Outsiders if they decide to peek over. Missed nade could have actually been important. That could have hit Kicker for 50, could have found its way into Flit for some chip damage.
Don't want to waste those.
But instead it'll net them nothing, and we hit the minute mark.
Full on cat control, and Outsiders, they really do use the clock well. I mean, some people regard them as playing slowly. If you ask them, they're kind of perplexed. What do you mean play slowly. We just use the seconds on the clock to make moves happen and do things carefully, and they do a very good protocol. So I think I've really come around on just watching them from an entertainment perspective as well recently, and especially with Fame coming in. Feels like they're actually playing less slow than they did with Kinder somehow.
Starting to power up a little. Wonderful chance to shine here. 25 seconds and the cross inbound, but one flash, and that is an open plant. Kicker just gets splattered on the back wall. Bomb's gonna get chucked over, so sure enough, Flit gets it in. We've got a frag, we've got a flash, and we've got 3 kits here for Spirit's retake attempt. The frag grenade from Outsiders goes a little far. All they'll have is James' last smoke. Who's up next? Patsi. It's not him to catch Fame, it's magixx instead, and Siren wins the duel towards mid. This retake looking flawless. magixx comes in massive with the 3 kills, and I think magixx is in fact one of those proven entities on the side of Spirit. If we look at, Chopper's calls and Chopper's ability to bring up talent, magixx has put in the reps. He is an integral piece of Spirit, and here in this retake, very critical.
Yes, could be a bit better at KZ, but FPL champion.
Careful, man. You'll hurt his feelings.
Yeah. I remember I was spectating him playing KZ, and he said, "I'm feeling so pressurized right now." Definitely the cutest man on the team. Ooh. Oh. And yeah, he can aim with the best of them. And so can Jame. So that's a good retake. In a situation where if they got the perfect flashes off on a Wonderful, but they didn't perform the cross correctly, not crouching and looking down, which would have simply avoided the crosshairs of Wonderful. But that's Wonderful's job, is to figure out, if I get flashed, how can I get a little bit in? So if he doesn't get that kill, it's a whole different round. Looks like they want to go back to what they tried last time. And the CTs, they're not comfortable fighting into mid here, but they are comfortable with the idea that it's feeling like a similar play to round 4. This time, Wonderful up front.
Did hit that zinger on Kicker just 1 round prior, but ooh, Outsiders, they've got past.
Oh,
Flit sees the gun.
Crossed through the smoke. He read that just as well as they did.
Ooh, Chopper. Ooh. Nice recovery. Crosshairs off the mark, still comes through. magixx slides as they try to press in. It's another 3-piece from magixx as he chops him down on catwalk. No chance for Outsiders to even get into that bomb site as they did last round.
Yeah, that was a very nice hold from magixx with the re-aggression, and also defends the op from being picked up. And we saw that Chopper got his frag, could have got traded out, but it was a Tech 9 at top of mid, showing off exactly how poor Outsiders were, which of course will mean that Outsiders will be saving on this round, and Spirit keep a lot of people alive despite losing their rifle or opper early.
Don't forget, I think they haven't seen it yet. We've got Patsi on the second top. Wonderful. Not gonna land the shot, but it is Glocks, no stress.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, you typically don't want to have 2 ops in a situation like this. Make the least amount of money, and if B site gets taken over, I mean, you might not even be able to retake. But this setup makes so much sense based on the 2 ops that are coming in, overprotecting B, and trusting A with Chopper and magixx. magixx boy.
Chopper.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. That nade, though, wow. That is a lot of red. Oh, watch this kill feed as Chopper's assists come through. Haven't seen a nade hit that hard since Call of Duty 4. Martyrdom, baby. Flit's going to get dropped. Chopper, he may have died, but it's not in vain.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know what? Once upon a time, I would, and again, we're not talking star performance here from Chopper, but let's go back 2 majors. I think sometimes Chopper's individuals would cost Spirit big rounds. And
sorry, Chopper individually?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like aim-wise and whatnot.
Did. He was I remember one major, he was so nervous.
I'm talking nuke ramp behind that box in Stockholm.
Was it Vitality they played against?
I can't remember, but
yeah,
I just know it made me think that Chopper's stocks were at an all-time low. And then he came back into Antwerp, and I feel like, improvement. Again, not a god. It shouldn't be Chopper at the top of the board, but I feel like he's making less mistakes and still calling excellent games and still bringing up all this unknown talent. So
he's very perceptibly nervous back then.
Yeah. Nice to see that just, you know, kind of disappear. I don't want to jinx him. But that nade last round made up for his death. Getting caught out on catwalk, not so bad when you do 200 plus frag damage. We're back into the gun rounds, and James hunting towards middle for some kind of contact. Patsi flashes himself in for a little peek, but sees nothing and falls back.
You can feel the A split brewing, but this time with Long as the primary objective or target here from the T side. It's important to keep high smokes, of course, to threaten the cross early. 50-second mark, and they actually are changing up now. Bombs going up cap. 2 nades sitting in spawn, no one to throw them. They've actually jocked the rotation. Team Spirit really think that this is going to be towards B, setting up in a similar way to the anti-eco. magixx times a nade, it's going to help out a lot because they've only got 2 here, and Wonderful is preoccupied with the long lurk. It's going to be actually hard for him to get involved safely.
Nade will find some damage, but magixx has to keep his head down. They lost Patsi. magixx just waiting for them to get closer. There's only 15 seconds left. These T's starting to scramble in, but this is where outsiders thrive. And magixx, yeah, he's waiting for somebody to come prying over top of the ramp. Not the case. Wait! Wonderful! He just denied the bomb plant. That utility's massive. Outsiders have to scramble in, and Team Spirit win this?
Oh my god, the molly is all it takes. What just happened there? No smoke for it. And that was Wonderful throwing that molly just so you could go back to watch Long. I thought it was a mix match in positions between him and magixx, and it meant that he couldn't have impact on that cross. But he still manages to, in fact, just wins the whole round.
Where does that come down? Oh, it just spreads. No util, no smokes.
Yeah, they couldn't help him, and he couldn't trust it. I mean, if he probably could have figured out he would die and move that bomb plant over, but it wouldn't be safe to switch the size of the box with Wonderful alive. But it's also symptomatic of the fact that outsiders didn't put any pressure on Long.
Well then, Team Spirit going to take that one. Kind of stuns outsiders for a second. They go from what looked like, you know, where they thrive. But Father Time takes one away from Jame.
2 dads.
Patsi nervous here. Could be players sneaking around, but sure enough, they've gone up the catwalk to try and join Norbert on the AK. Kicker brings up the tail end with bomb. And Jame, of course, opping on his own towards Long. Patsi clips Fame's wings. Easy opener. And man, considering this is, again, like a reinvestment from Flit, from Jame, from Norbert, this puts outsiders in a weird spot on this T side early.
Kind of surprised to see them going cat in this situation. Jame trying not to die. Oh, he's got the rotation back. Oh, and he gets that shot off as well, and now they just switch up entirely. Mistake made here by Patsi, but it's still a good situation from the perspective of, you know, the health bars, a little bit more utility here. 20 seconds. Can they pull off this cat cross? This looks incredibly risky.
The smoke has to go down on the incendiary instead. Won't give them any chance to have an easy cross. Chopper goes prying and poking at them as they desperately try to run this one in again. And Norbert's trying his damnedest. Jame caught magixx on Long. Nade to the site. Ooh, Kickert survives. That could have been a casualty. Instead, we need the retake. There's utility here. They could blanket that bomb site and fire, and if they do that, you'd think all of a sudden outsiders scramble into the open. Kits on both. Smoke to also block off Jame on Long, and the bomb's not actually planted for Jame on this Long position. So now this has to start to press in. Kicker gets away with a little bit of health, but Siren's gonna find him, and the smoke actually goes close corner so that they can fixate on Norbert. But Jame, he catches that kill, and somehow, in the most outsiders way, they manage to pull off this round win.
Is there a gap? Oh, there was a gap. Oh my god, that smoke wins the round. And there was a gap. They were about to clear Goose. 2 mistakes though. That smoke gap, and they missed the molly on Goose. There was a player there with low HP. It's a great shot by Jame regardless. I mean, it's a small gap, so really key that he hit it, of course, but saved the round. That was the most outsiders round ever.
That's what they do.
15 seconds or so, low buy. Little messy, but Jame got the kill on Patsi. Patsi was right to be uncomfortable about the idea that Jame made him cross, because that is what Dust2 is all about, and that's what Outsiders really hone in on. Making that mid-B rotator make the wrong decision, because it costs utility to get back, and it costs time to get back, and they're really good at punishing that. But when Patsi decided to just try to cross freely with no flash, Jame held that angle perfectly. He won the round in his mind at that moment. It is a thing where like Jame can see the round win where no one else can, and that's what ties into that Norbert quote about him. That was so funny.
There's a reason we call him the Time Lord.
Oh, Jesus.
Jame is the reason that I believe time travel might be possible.
He wouldn't want to tell us about it because we'd probably lock him up or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No disrespect, but I don't know if we could trust him with it. Too much power for one man.
He's too tricky.
Honestly, props to him. He's got the ability, and he just wants to play CS still.
Yeah. That speaks volumes about our game.
At least that's all we know in terms of what he's up to. A real mystical figure in the Counter-Strike scene. Now Outsiders setting their sights on this B site. So again, Patsi with the op. We've seen it towards middle. Right now it's on plat. An ambitious USB spam and an ambitious spot for the op, man. He's about to get a face full of Outsiders, but he at least locks down the kill to Norbert, and it's only gonna be that one. Siren's chance. And as he catches the better of fame, it's kicker back towards Catwalk. Nice lurk on the solo T-play. Chopper, though, he's going to go in through this, and Flit barrel stuffs him on the side of that smoke. Wonderful with no footing, and a smoke inside the doorway means Outsiders have just squeezed their way to a one-round lead.
Yeah, the position was kind of tense for the op on Hummer, and he got a kill. Second shot was going to be hard. It was really well handled on the entries from Outsiders, but I'm sure they were quite happy to see the Opera trying to take this really deep aggressive angle, and they just combined with the double peek and everyone trying to play off the smokes. And then Chopper, you know, honestly, also underrated kill from Kicker there. He could easily die. I feel like that's a CT favorite fight. He is against the wall. Kicker's HSP is so high sometimes and really just nails that one. But the Chopper aggression in through the smoke would have been wonderful if he, I can't say his name now, I think, because he's in the game. Just got to take that word out of my vocabulary.
Yep.
Don't even say it that often. It was on my mind.
It's just there.
But if Chopper had just run through the left side of smoke right away, that would have been it. He kind of took a weird path where he was smoke blind as he was coming out, clearly in vision. And Flit was waiting for it. A couple of crazy close situations here for Outsiders where they take the win.
But, you know, for anybody who's just not accustomed to the Outsiders' game plan or nature, that's what they do. They grind out these rounds. They push teams like Spirit to the absolute limit, and you better be ready for 30 when Outsiders are in the server. magixx, he'll catch fame. Trying to press out through that long smoke, so the double CT setup looks good. They rotate back quickly, and Outsiders, just as fast, gonna run Kicker down to the bottom of mid. He'll poke into middle. What's up? Who's here? Chopper's home. And he goes for the spray through the smoke. Bomb floating just behind Kicker on the back of Jame. And the B players have actually just evacuated the site for the time being, leaning behind boxes and looking to help on mid. They want to crunch any potential push here from Outsiders, but that push, don't think it's going to come at the minute mark. Outsiders will play this clock further.
magixx having a great game, holding down the right side of the map with his rifles. This time stuck in at long. Chopper holding, and there's been no clues for Team Spirit as to what the setup is at the beginning of the round. And we've actually seen when Outsiders don't know, they end up going cat. See, still looking for some data. They got info on the op. I think that's what they wanted to find out, and that actually is kind of uncomfortable here for Chopper. Let's see if he can get some damage off through the spam. It's not bad.
Could be worse. Patsi up next. Flash finds him. He tucks.
Spotted.
Yeah, they would have seen that. But then they come through. Siren dropped after just one. They got to grab that bomb and plant. And they've got 5 seconds spare to do so. Retake needed. Nicely done from Outsiders, but again, right, it's what they do. They squeeze in with just that extra 5 on the clock. Team Spirit going to be nervous about all corners here through middle, but there's nothing there. It's all inside the site.
They have one molly, if we pay attention to that, but...
Could throw it towards Carr. But they'll go for back plat, and that's actually going to put it right on James' feet. He peeks. He knows he has to fight. He'll be burnt out by magixx. They've got Flit in the landmine position. Shoots into the skies. magixx trades back, and that's 2 kills in this 3K needed. Norbert plays it perfect. Sits behind that box and comes in with the impact.
Oh yeah, that's well done.
A clutch for Outsiders to keep.
Happy about that. Okay, got some Norbert fans in the crowd. They make that happen. Post-plant stuff, if they had a smoke there for tunnels, then they probably could have figured out that big box was the first point. So little low on utility coming into things. The split's good. We see it. It's clear as day now. They literally just wanted to find out where Wonderful was. He took one shot on the A site, and that was it. Chopper's heart sank. They smoked him out mid B and punished right away. So they're spending time just making sure that they're going to the site with 2 players. That's pretty much it. And that's what I said at the beginning. That's how Outsiders play and why they win so many Dust2 games. They keep it simple and they keep it pragmatic, and it sometimes looks complicated because they have to work hard to get those clues. But if Spirit aren't going to play active enough, then they're going to constantly get punished.
Speaking of punishment, Spirit into the pistols. magixx, hell of a game. 14-6 at the moment. But Outsiders with a very real chance to pull ahead. Patsi with a Zeus. Don't know if we've had a Zeus yet at the major. Haven't cast one ourselves. Wonderful. Little deagle damage. That could actually draw the T's down into the lower tunnels as they try to deal with Wonderful, and the Zeus not gonna find its mark.
CT is kind of converging on the positions in tunnels, and they get a kill as well before leaving.
Let's go.
Low health here for Flit.
Making the most of it. Served up distraction in lower tunnels, plus Wonderful top mid. Chopper. Funny enough, right? Not the sharpest individually, but his deagle actually finds its target. And Siren in this corner with Flit low. Chopper offers up another headshot. 2 Desert Eagle kills. Flit's all that's left. And Team Spirit, remember, they lost that 1 round to Outsiders on the A site when they only worked with those few weapons. This is even bigger, but it's also not done till Wonderful shows up. Pistols only. And those are usually the kinds of rounds that Outsiders offers us.
Definitely.
But to be a victim of it, what goes around comes around.
Yeah, they do. And the super solid aimers, the Spirit start to show. And that was, I mean, first of all, this push from Wonderful, he had Norbert locked in. There was no one to even help Norbert out. He knew he was just losing ground constantly, had very low HP, and even makes it a 1D, but look at the remaining deagles as well. A great shot from Chopper.
Love that.
And he did a good job of drawing their attention to make sure that they couldn't fight a push in, but Jame, ooh, he'll take out Wonderful the first time. I think he's made an appearance here on mid with his op.
Yeah, good point. If anything, it's been Patsi kind of slow crawling, so we see the different look. Wonderful's a little more aggressive, right? Meant to be the star opper, not a secondary. That confidence costs him. Leave it to Outsiders to lose to Deagles and then suddenly have life in the next round. Little AK peek here from magixx, trying to set up Spirit's current top fragger.
Oh, law control. Ooh, this is a subversive attack here. There's no one here, and I don't know if they saw magixx, of course, the long anchor on the map, but they found the spot regardless, willing to take risks because they don't have much to lose. And it looks like they might gain off this, but the bomb has to cross.
They're close. They press. Fame, Tech 9
what
back.
What a trade, man. That was really nice from Fame.
And necessary.
With the smoke going down as well for the safe.
Also important that he gets the hell out of here, though. He's got the bomb. And he's got his teammates inside the A site. Chopper slides through. Oh, Chopper slides through. He's in the smoke. Jame, it's going to be a test if that player comes through. And of course he survives with the most minimal amount of HP. Jame sets them up, kills Wonderful in mid. Flit, an important Tech 9 trade. Because if Flit goes down, it's not just the fact that goes untraded, but they lose the weapons that they use over towards this A site, and no bomb to press up Catwalk. It would have been 3 members of Outsiders with pistols on long, trying to somehow clear mid. Would not have happened. So Outsiders, you never break them until they're good and broken.
Yeah, you're not you haven't won the round until literally everyone's dead. And that's kind of how they view it. So Jame opening tactic. He has been sitting in suicide every round waiting for this one time to happen. So I'm curious if he keeps going there. It's wonderful. It's unlikely to make another appearance, but he'll be controlling mid one way or another. And then, you know, Flit has a dangerous job of getting that smoke off, but that smoke with the trust that he has Fame to cover him for that re-aggression was perfect. He was so quick to it. This kill could actually still win the round here for Chopper, but it's just kind of an insane flick back from Jame.
Oof. Speaking of things that don't go down easy, I feel like Outsiders as a whole, but again, we talk about how Jame plays this important role. Like, he's the kind of guy who I feel like even with that 5 HP left, he's going to hit those flick shots.
Oh, there it is. He literally
Every
did
time.
the same boost, waited for a same tactic, and got the opt down again.
Ice cold. He's just warming up the flicks. Gives him another chance. Oh, Patsi.
What a peek.
Not bad. Crouches into it as well. Gives Jame just the sliver to shoot at.
Just showed 51% of his body so he could have vision.
Maybe he should have taken that shot through the wall because Patsi gets the straight up duel and wins it. Flit presses in against the door. He'll hold.
Just listening for the scope flicker. We'll see if he does it. Oh, he's going to hear the runaway, and Patsi is trying to bait a peek in, maybe. Flit's not going to bite, but continuously scoping. Time bleeds down, and again, we're going to get the smoke off. If he takes a shot, he's got to worry that this peek comes out. Yeah. Uh-oh.
There's chances. Luckily, he's got himself a third. Unfortunately for Spirit, it's going to enable the cat push.
Yeah, it's still great. They found out the opper's still there.
Kicker.
Even if he's still alive, he's useless.
Didn't clear the corner, so I don't think he clears pit. And, oh, the rumblings of something going south. Kickert's worried about long. It's a player actually just straight beneath him. Now again, you're not going to win this round if you're Team Spirit. You'd have to get Siren's kit into position, but you know, there's a zany world here where Chopper maybe pulls off a kill or two. He's got the bigger picture. I said they could win this, and Norbert should be that insurance policy. They're able to turn back towards spawn and put this one to rest. Patsi gonna show himself, find impact, add cost to what is the 8th terrorist round win from the Outsiders. But I like that we're getting scrappy, and I almost thought Flit would try to clear that op from the hands of Spirit. This one goes to the 3-round lead of Outsiders, a T side that's gunning for double digits.
Indeed. So what will the money be like here? Enough for everybody to get what they need. Because of course it was that eco. A couple of good rounds from Jame. Despite dying here, there's an amazing shot from Patsi down mid. You know, very small angle to work with. Had to get Jame to miss and barely showed his body as well. From his POV, you could see everything, but from James, it was basically just one eyeball looking down mid. Jame in middle again, tags Siren on the cross as they try to go without using utility. Frees up Patsi to find the timing, and he's going to come in low. Oh, this is a shot. It's a weird jump. Now Patsi, is he locked in with them, or are they locked in with him?
Yeah, who knows? With wonderful covering behind, Patsi fixates forward, gives himself a smoke to evacuate, and that means Norbert can't keep eyes on it. That would have been the chance, really, to punish, and he moves very quickly into this B site. Fame tries to transition through. Siren gonna get collapsed on. Opper and Patsi on plat. He holds. And minimizes, awaits them. A missed shot from Patsi. You're gonna run out of chances. And just like that, we've got Outsiders teeth deep inside B. A fleshy round from the T side as they will continue to feast on this offense. Unfortunately for Spirit, there were chances in this one. This was not something that just simply falls flat. It's just a couple of critical misses, and Outsiders will run away with it.
And it was also, they immediately threw the lurk smoke out into B as soon as, once again, they found the oppers, right? Very simple, very pragmatic, but still hard to stop. If your whole game plan is to do this, you're on the other side, you're like, well, what do? We don't want to shoot our ops, cause rotations. And when they had 2 on the right side of mid, that's where it all ended. Wonderful, got his refrag on Cat, but now he's Cat guy. You know, he can't be B guy.
Nope.
And then when Patsi came over, they weren't that scared of him. Surmise that entry, bring themselves a 9th. Looking at a very solid first half. And Outsiders, they actually win more on CT side. They have a 60% win rate on CT side. So they've got to feel very good. A number of single-digit losses for their opponents on this map in the last 13 or so games. Yeah, Outsiders, man. The team that they look like the, you know, when it's like the SWAT team and then the guy in the clown costume and everyone's pick'ems, right?
Yeah.
That they kind of snuck in there. But like real ones know they're just so dangerous. And the same goes for Spirit. If you put Spirit in there, you're not crazy.
No.
They're kind of underrated picks, but they're just so damn resilient. So scary. He's hitting someone every round.
Every time, man. Spirit, nothing comes for free. They'll try to press into lower tunnels. This could actually gear up the B hit as well. Patsi maybe called to the action. Fame's not alone. He's got Jame. Killer crossfire, but again, site players pushing.
Oh,
Jame holds for that, and that is the booby trap of the B tunnels. Patsi thought he was the guy making plays. Now it's just the scout to hold him back. And even this pressure, if there's no bomb to follow up, excellent grenade. It doesn't even matter because all the while Norbert goes deep on long, taps away. Just one shot to the chest. And magixx and Chopper, all that remain. Jame calling an excellent T-side. Throws the bomb over. This game's really been entertaining, I feel like. You know, even if Spirit have now, you know, kind of lost the element of competitiveness, this was everything I'd hoped for a Team Spirit Outsiders match.
Agreed.
Some crazy rounds, both pulling off the heroics.
And I'm saying, you know, it's the one of the few maps that could be T-sided, and I'm really curious to see what Spirit have to bring on that.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It has a place in the history books of Team Spirit's Antwerp run, and I think it would be foolish to say that this one's going to fall flat in the second half. But it does end with double digits to the Outsiders' favor. So don't go too far. It's a CIS derby that's worth every second of your attention.
Hey Future Pros! Taking long on Dust2 is one thing, but getting to the site can be a whole other challenge. With these simple smokes I'll show you, it should be no problem. You'll need 2 smokes for this one, so ask a teammate nicely to drop you one. To throw the first smoke, stand in the corner in front of the barrel, then aim at this point and running through the smoke almost instantly. Then stand at this wall, aim at this point along the line and running jump throw that smoke too. No pick control needed, and you'll be hard pressed to find a gap, so cross the site with a little bit of peace of mind.
The majority of Team Spirit has played much better opponents on much bigger stages. A key piece to their run in Antwerp. It needs to be another bout of success. They're trailing by 5. They've got outsiders fired up, and some of their key pieces may be missing. But at the same time, Team Spirit, we'll see. It's side after all, and outsiders, well, it's not always clean and easy. These games get grindy. We'll see if a pistol win on the offense can start to shift that narrative.
Yeah, magixx had the best one before in the history of the game on Dust2 on T side.
Yeah,
can't forget about that.
Best cast in the history of the game as well.
Yeah, best casted by Hugo Byron.
That's Lord Byron.
Lord Byron at the major.
I like the idea of putting magixx in the front of this one. Kicker gonna have his hands full as they round that corner. Run boost. So it looked. But they pump the brakes and wait. Flash primed high, smokes down. Ooh.
Norbert got one.
Yes, sir. Over towards tunnels.
Oh.
So the only other of Team Spirit has gone down, and they don't have another smoke. Oh, there it is. Never mind. They've got the cross nice and easy, but it's now at ramp that their struggles could begin. We've got Flit already inside of that smoke. Fame is right there with him.
Look at the pressure.
Two players of outsiders ready to run through.
They haven't planted. The smokes are going to expire.
Dude, they are stranded here on the smallest of aisles. Resources running low. Dehydration kicking in. Sunburnt to a crisp. And all of a sudden, get hungry enough to go for that bomb plant. Siren, he'll get them into the post, but it's the same problem. You've got not much to hold on with, and you've got outsiders gearing up for a retake with Norbert primed on Berettas and Flit's flash to serve as that push in. But Flit actually blinds Flame a little bit. Wonderful and Chopper offer a hold, and while outsiders were gearing up for that fight, Team Spirit just stick together, pack up and holds. It works well enough to push Kicker to the clutch. He sees all 3, damages 2. And I thought Team Spirit had too little to work with.
Whose flash was it? Was it the CT flash or the T flash? But
it was Flit's.
It was Flit's. Okay, so as soon as they threw that flash, the Spirit decided to explode as soon as they felt like that flash was coming. So it was a really nice call to be ready to start attacking instead of just fighting individually on the ramp.
Yeah,
and you can see they just met him with so many people here. Nice round out, a wonderful 3 for him. Overtaking magixx now by 1 kill.
Damn. Okay. I thought that pistol round was wrapped up.
The thing was, there was no molly there for outsiders, so they had a flash and they had the kit. But that default guy, that's the most important part of the whole thing, because he can't jump off the site without showing himself or just dying in the molly. And he also can't plant if that molly's there and there was no smoke left over for Team Spirit. But they still, of course, could have just won by brute force.
Yeah, I thought maybe even just kind of keeping some vision and holding the bomb off site would have been helpful, but the last second, Siren climbs in, plants bomb.
Uh-oh. Well, I mean, this stack,
no.
It shouldn't matter.
No.
USPs.
I don't want to be the party pooper, but USPs ain't going to do much. Patsi, pad stats, and it falls on Kicker, who gets deleted by Wonderful. So excellent outcome here for Spirit. Second half starts with pistol, 5-man conversion, only a 3-round lead.
Jame picks up the op here, round 18.
Man, the amount of impact he had through the mid doors, I'm curious to see if he throws it at them in CT side as well.
Yeah, well, he's going to be very smart about the way he holds it, but he's going to play in middle a lot more than Wonderful did, who was just kind of trying to set up for a very aggressive and sharp peak, but no intention to really hold late into the round. You see Jame already starting off towards the B side, which gives him the option to come back to mid in a favorable side of the door. Trusting the riflers now, but careful to not use his op here. And now we'll get to see how Team Spirit search the map. And look for clues.
It's not a massive amount of utility here for Outsiders, so I feel like those smokes could be critical. One of them just got thrown out here on Catwalk, and there's still a pocket behind that smoke that, of course, Team Spirit could occupy. Not the case. It's a bit of a fake. And instead, Spirit pressed close to B, which just gears up Jame.
Oh,
the moment he shoots that op, look at them run for the hills.
That was such a big bait, man.
They sprint.
Fame was shoulder peeking exactly like you would do if you were throwing a smoke, and he didn't even smoke it because he wanted the op to come through. Oh.
Patsi gets out through middle, locks in on the corner, and Jame, with that smoke in front of him, can't do anything to stop what is 4 members of Spirit from running up Cat. Kicker can't deliver. Chopper wins that duel with just the Galil. And now he tucks in behind boxes. Next head on the platters in the face of Norbert. magixx. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so, dude.
I don't think so, bro. That's funny. So just wanted to make sure he knew he was doing it.
Dude, everybody saw that Axile falling kill on Mirage from the Challenger stage, and now we're trying things like this? No, Norbert. No.
I think Kicker's pretty mad at himself for not nailing that shot on the cross. He had a couple seconds to do it. The Galil is too much. And a little mistake there from Flit, I think, just not anticipating they could have been out mid-doors at the same time. So not ready for that level of chaos. And it was a really nice start for Outsiders. The fact that they got them to bait them into testing B, into not smoking the end of tunnel, and Jame just being there, of course, is the reason to go to the other side of the map. But just like we saw in the first half, if that op shows itself, that can be great if you see somebody, but if you don't get a kill, then it doesn't matter. And even though Jame does, it's answered back really quickly, and it is still a problem that they can avoid him entirely. So that's a problem universally for all oppers on Dust2, to try to have enough impact that your team can kind of be fine without it. But shout out to Chopper for the entry.
Damn, man. It's like 6 bullets deep in that Galil spray, and he hits the pinpoint headshot on ramp. That's some Galil expertise on a whole other level.
There's still a buy here. I mean, it's a half investment, but it's with 3 saved guns.
Patsi wastes no time, gets into the pit, and Norbert just as quick and slick to slide all the way back towards site. He's not the only one getting boosted.
This will be an interesting round to watch, actually, from the perspective of adjustments. It's an understood position between both sides. So what do the CTs do on a low buy when they can't keep up with grenades? And they have actually boosted a lot towards A, just going to fully assume it's going to be the A site. And of course, they'd be right.
Little gap on that. Fame wants to play it, but Patsi holding it all the while. magixx versus Norbert, and it slides to Outsiders' favor. Wonderful from downtown. Finds Norbert in the bomb site. Man advantage Spirit. Bomb alone on ramp, and very quickly Jame disengages from the catwalk. He's going to sprint this all the way towards long, but it does leave Flit on his own for now. And inside the util, he hoped to thrive. Jame cautious of the corner being occupied, and we know Jame will let rounds slip. So feels like Spirit have done a good enough job. Great cover, of course, from Wonderful. 2 kills on the round.
Yeah.
And Outsiders, I feel like they were in the position to prevail, but they just came up short. Kills slip through from Spirit, and that lead evaporates by yet another round.
They just had to be careful about their tells, right? When they do the second smoke onto long, they're already halfway crossed. So Outsiders are trying to time the flash so Fame can come through and bring down the numbers. Even if he goes 1 for 1, you just want to bring this as close to a 1v1 as possible from the CTs defending the site. And they do it at such a timing that the flash is late, Fame dies without getting a kill, and then there's so much pressure on Norbert. He gets a frag, but then that's where the gun advantage comes into play. Wonderful sitting in pit, just covering all of the gaps, and does a fantastic job of not missing. Oh, that was a nice shot. But right here, that's the big one. Norbert stay alive. His smoke was very fresh as well. If he hadn't peeked in between that and only peeked around the outside, could have potentially got more out of it. But Wonderful would have still been there watching and waiting.
I think it's time we kind of throw Wonderful under the microscope. 20-7 at the moment.
Yeah.
Huge map, not dying, constantly alive.
Yeah, he's still a really young player. He still gets a lot of kills, and his aim is excellent, as you'd expect from any kind of opping prospect. There's still like lots of ways in which he could do more, I guess, for the team, but it depends how much they want to use him in a tactical style or just let him roam. Like, you don't give him as much freedom as someone like Jame. We saw he wasn't exactly pervasive on CT side in the last map, or in the first half. He took a few risks inside of middle with peaks, got punished for that for the most part. Hung out around A and definitely did his job.
Wonderful right back. Could have been an opening pick. Instead burned away from the position, and long will belong to Outsiders for now. Pinpoint precision. Hinge smoke goes down. There's nothing actually behind this.
It's very important, though, to have the Xbox smoked or to have the door smoked. So if there's an opera on the left side of mid, they can't hold cat. And if they can't hold cat, then you can't put pressure on the cat as a CT. So whether or not you're using it, you're making sure your lower guy is safe by having the door hinge smoked.
Flash here to set up magixx. It's good enough to get Norbert off the angle, and he'll flash himself for the prospect of going back in. Corner smoke definitely gives Team Spirit an easy way out. And in response, we're going to have Outsiders starting to press in onto Cat. Kicker at the front of this. We want to talk about James, or excuse me, wonderful success. You know, Kicker got to be sharper. Got to offer us at least one glowing moment.
He's having a bad game, and there are going to be more rounds towards A.
It's crazy as Fame is too, right?
They're a little slow here at 30 seconds. And most times picking a site, you just go for it. But this is a lot of very telegraphable for Outsiders. They've got a lot of things in place right now, but they don't have any nades.
This is Outsiders' wheelhouse. Jame presses in through that gap again. magixx right there.
Oh, he scoped and magixx punished.
Yep. All he needs, a little Q to get it. Over on the other side, Norbert stops the plant. Gun's empty. Has to dive into the corner.
No time.
No time to recover. They need kills, and the CTs just disappear. They win it on time. You try to play the clock versus Outsiders, and you are going to feel the burn.
Yeah, they organized a little late there. Ooh, that might be a little nervous from Team Spirit. And they had a decent position. I mean, late into the round, they didn't get any of the clues. They picked long. It was open. They got that 5v5, but you cross the 30-second mark on the long doors, and you have still quite a journey ahead of you. 2 cross smokes come in. You have to dodge counter flashes. You have to be ready for boost. You have to molly the site. You have to, there's a lot of waiting involved. You almost want like 45 seconds to a minute in some situations to be able to do it safely. Well, they're answering that problem early, taking long control right away. Outsiders' default was way more thorough when it came to protecting the upper tunnels. Layers on layers. Here they leave it open, passive on the outside with Siren. But with the T's on long control, they don't have the resources to cover both parts of the map, so it's kind of a very natural alignment between these two teams. The offense and the defense here.
Chopper seeing nothing for the moment. Outsiders content to just sit inside the A site. Siren doing his thing, but it's him versus Fame.
Oh, it's a well-timed lurk, it looks like. We'll see. Fame is coming back.
Oh
he didn't see that.
God.
Jesus.
No way.
Siren got all the way around. Fame is still here, though.
We'll see what comes of it. Excellent
now
nade
they
out
know.
of Flit. Lands it onto Patsi. magixx not going to be able to cross with such little HP, so those 2 pieces of utility are massive for the Outsiders. And then they just ignite the ramp, make this incredibly awkward. Chopper so desperate that he tries to press through. And Siren does manage to skate through the B site, but all the while, we've got Wonderful locked in on long, and Siren gets into position, but it's way too late. He tries to add something to the X factor, and instead, Outsiders content in that bomb site. Their nades in abundance.
Yeah.
And honestly, that damage was perfection.
It was, yeah. They did, just timings were perfect. And they play off the clock so well in terms of when the nades come down, staying really ahead of Team Spirit on like the whole way through. And Fame was so active when it came to sitting on the tunnels, watching for a late lurk as well. It's not Siren to win the round. It's to Siren to win the round if they get the bomb down, and they don't even get close to that. They need to. He's not going to help them with entries on the site. He could help them a little bit with the site cross from this position. You know, maybe you could ask for him to come out earlier for that reason, but you can't expect the entire B site to be completely open unless somebody tips the scales in some way, right? You can't assume that.
Can't just assume it blind. You know what's so sick about that frag as well is that it directly hit the guy in the back, putting it at his feet and killing the player who's crouch walking in front of him. You know, that grenade, just an inch to the left, it soars by them. They're both still alive. Maybe they press through, who knows.
Yeah, they went bowling.
Man can't dodge a nade nor a wrench. Smothered on the front side of that A site.
Spirit's money rests on this round. Maybe their hopes in the game as well. You know, 13-14 potentially here for Outsiders.
Wonderful. No matter how hard he hits, will go down easy this time. Fame finds impact. Flit lays down utility. T's gonna have to cancel what they hoped was a B site hit.
Look at the mollies coming out of the tunnels. It's basically 3 of them layered on top of each other. They just know if they stop this at this point, 4v3 with damage on magixx, it's gonna be hard to get back into.
Outsiders just lay down a moat of magma.
Spirit wanted that bad, but Outsiders are kind of ready for some kind of B aggression. They took the kind of forward and far back peek. Drill anybody coming in with that idea. Kicker receding into game helper, and well, maybe eyes on Kicker again. 7-15 here. He is half of the hold, and with the rifle where it is, magixx could reasonably get this kill. Oh, sorry, it's not a rifler. That makes more sense.
James sits and waits. Yeah,
so if Kicker loosens this up, then it could cause problems.
We've seen Kicker with some troubles, and Jame turning his attention to maybe help, but that could open up the timing if magixx decides to press in. And sure enough, now Kicker. It has to be Kicker. And they've already crossed into the site.
Oh, interesting. He gets into CT spawn.
Does he jump for this? Goes. Oh, right to the face. And while Patsy's able to claim it back, Kicker gives us something. magixx, remember, low HP, throws the smoke out. But that's over towards the cross. Counter-terrorist pressing in. magixx, he could fall victim to the fact that Flit slides past Norbert's dead body. Shots starting to sail out. Patsy over deep inside that bomb site. Gonna leave magixx on his own. magixx popping up. No shots connect. Flit can't hit the head. And what do you know? Team Spirit off of magixx, lesser HP on the off pressures Kicker into a position where he throws that Hail Mary. Sure, he gets the kill, but he doesn't stop the bomb. And so Team Spirit, double digits.
Yeah, that's everything about magixx right there. Low HP as he picks up Wonderfuls up in the tunnels and then turns that into a lurk. And he has to be as selfish as he possibly can to make sure he doesn't die, because he controls whether or not the A site hold will crumble. At the same time, if he peeks too early, he will simply die. Kicker's jump, if it was any earlier, actually, this becomes a very weird situation because he can go into delaying mode. But instead, he comes out. I think that was a 7th kill or 8th for Kicker, 8th kill. Wow. So, I mean, Outsiders, in terms of game plan, I think, feel good about that round, but a nice mid-round to save the game here for Team Spirit, save the economy as well. And now they put Outsiders in a position where if they lose, then they might lose 2 straight up.
Keeping this one tight. As you would hope it would be.
I think Jame, I can't help but feel like Jame was uncomfortable with the idea of leaving that all up to Kicker, considering his kill count this match. And if he had just held on for a long period of time and left that to Kicker to take first contact, I mean, of course, they almost certainly win right there.
For sure. magixx doesn't get across. magixx doesn't have the opposite end. Oh, little gap.
Yep, could very easily get spammed in this position, floating behind the smoke.
Yeah, it comes through, but it's not a casualty. They'll see the retreat. And Patsy, oof, eats a bunch of damage off the nade. Kicker not going to shy away, in fact. He's got support behind him. Fire will force his feet backwards. Look at the amount of bodies here. Damn, Outsiders. Flit just getting that frag grenade under the elbow.
We haven't seen Spirit do enough pressure from mid-Bs. And I think that's just allowing Outsiders to get very comfortable organizing towards A. We saw full B attack potentially coming in, but they've never changed up and just gone out and split that B site through mid. Oh,
no one's watching.
There's actually a huge gap right
Nobody's
here.
watching.
Yeah, they're walking the cross as well.
Ooh, spray goes good. Kicker, ton of damage. It's one frag versus Patsi. It leaves Chopper on a measly 9 HP. And Fame, looking for the better gun, is going to peel back off the catwalk. But, I mean, Spirit, you'd think they shouldn't even have been given a chance to plant. Nobody from Outsiders watching that long timing. Split versus Wonderful, and, I mean, he has been true to his name. Consistent in the op kills,
wow.
And Team Spirit, I mean,
they let that go.
They get away with what is, I think, just a sad setup from Outsiders. Nobody watching long.
Well, yeah, they have no smokes on the cross, right? So there's no reason for Outsiders to be worried in that moment. So the call from Team Spirit, walk all the way to the corner and swing, is only punished by an op sitting in CT spawn.
Sly.
Yeah, so they just tricked them and did something slightly different. And again, I think Outsiders are like, oh, they're never going to go mid B. But here is something a little bit new. They tried long, but this time they go really light on long and try not to get telegraphed. And the call is just right here for Chopper.
That's kind of what we love to see from him, right? In the mind of Jame. And that's a wild place to be. Last timeout called from Outsiders. So we talk about how these matches always turn into a grind. Team Spirit have successfully done so in this second half. They win pistol, they convert for the 4 start, 2 rounds back from Outsiders based on time, and now a couple for Spirit as well.
Yeah, I'm still having the feeling that Outsiders are the better team in this half. I think some of the rounds look really good, but Team Spirit are doing everything right to make an upset possible. Should only call it an upset just comparing their Dust2 stats, of course. But this buy, actually, they don't even get through all the money because of the saves coming through. So this is a pretty solid position for Outsiders money-wise.
Whoa, bit more chip damage, so not going to be an easy round for magixx, not whatsoever.
This has been a problem, though. Getting damage, not the kills.
And losing track of Spirit and letting them get close. Silence blankets Dust2, and Fame will use that as a chance to press into the tunnels. Now, Fame can hit hard on T-sides, but right now, quiet. 8 kills, and Chopper bests him as he comes around the corner. It's just not the best timing there for Fame. So man advantage Team Spirit, even despite the low health early.
Look at the risk. I mean, he's the whole half of the map. I think there's at least one more inside of B, but this could be the situation where Team Spirit wants to take advantage. Oh man, Kicker actually gets away with the rotation.
But Hinge Smoke keeps him occupied in mid. Now he'll move towards B. Go back to the round where Siren's able to push through. Was probably surprised by the fact it was empty.
They might think that there's 2 over in B right now, but there's actually just 1. Ooh, all the T sitting in flames, separated from each other, but they got the op down in CT spawn. They're worried about mid B. A side is wide open. Outsiders have no control of the map right now.
This could just be a transition into a save.
Man, they threw those, yeah, they are. They threw those mollies out and just decided to leave through CT spawn. Wow, a few misplays here.
Chopper calls another golden ticket. Team Spirit tie this game 12-all. And it's only 1 death.
If all they had to do was molly shallower, and then they could have rotated accordingly. But instead, they just got really scared of being run over. And they even had Team Spirit come to the site that had 3 players. It was only Kickert who crossed, and there was no one there before. And Team Spirit thought there was one more there, and Kickert crossed over. Now A site's weaker, and they were wrong, and Outsiders still left a position entirely. But with 4 alive coming into this next round, they'll all have full utility.
Right.
And Fame, even though he's having a strugglesome game, they may not need to rely on him. He won't have a great gun, though. Or maybe he actually can get dropped the full good rifle. It's a very dubious position here at 12-12. Still feels like Outsiders are burgeoning on a round win at any point. But Spirit are doing exactly what Outsiders do to everybody else.
Right.
Coming into weird spots, finding a way back into rounds, looking like the underdog, and then winning the map.
It's like Chopper's found the method to Outsiders' madness. A lot of brain power going into this one. But at the end of the day, right, I feel like Outsiders, Spirit, they both know it. 30-round game of Counter-Strike. Doesn't matter by how many rounds you win. At the end of the day, you're looking for that 2-1 record. And the BO3s begin. Little press out through middle. Kicker, bullets go just past him. Chopper gets hit by that nade pretty hefty. 46 all he's got left, and it's not going to stop him from shying into the corner and then deciding to leave. A silent press from magixx. He is ahead of this incendiary, no doubt. Kicker is going to see it, hits the dink. Car player could go big. Flit finds magixx. Siren also a victim of this hold. And a smoke in front of Flit is going to give him a chance to milk more from this position. He is on his own. Jame is not getting any closer, but holding from a distance. Flit, he's going to be found out as Chopper goes to the top rope. And all of a sudden, the T's with no smoke have to get past Jame. The flash will suffice. Jame and Norbert into the save, and Spirit have taken the lead now.
Wow, they actually really did it. Another really hard-fought round. Easily could have gone the other way. 3 people once again on the right side of the map, but it's magixx to get the first kill. Kicker goes down, and now it feels like there's 2. Fame goes silent again, having a very bad map. And then it's Flit who puts himself in a good spot, kind of makes up for it with his first kill, locks him off. But Jame doesn't rotate to help him. He throws a flash, waits inside of middle, seeing if there's a lurk. There's just too many people dead. I feel like on an individual level right now, they've just got, when we look at the 2 other people in the site, Fame and Kicker, it's, you know, combined 17 frags, not pulling their weight. But magixx makes the space with his frag. Oh, we got a Let's Go Spirit chant as well in the crowd, winning some fans tonight. This afternoon.
Hey, man. It's any time of day in here. Game time. Maybe fame time. Always Jame time. Buys back in. Outsiders. Whew, trailing. Curious to see if we get any position swap outs. We've got Jame a little bit closer to the B site. He was very much relegated down to the CT spawn last round. Flash was all they needed to get him out of the equation to lock in a 13th and that 1-round lead.
Yeah. Fame moves out of a very risky spot, but with a smoke down, he could dodge all the flashes from this position. But it's really only a good spot if you have mid control or if you have a teammate in the site with you. It's pretty dangerous outside of that. Team Spirit, I think, they've rocked the confidence of Outsiders a little bit, in their head a little bit. They're winning rounds running into the right sites somehow.
Every time.
So it's, you know, Outsiders can keep making the right rotations. That should, in theory, catch up with Team Spirit in the long run.
Patsi burned out.
We'll see.
Smoke fades. Ooh! Hits Kicker, but Jame's there to save it.
And now they might exec B, knowing that opposite here. Nade comes in.
Blitz frag is big. Siren down to 60. Fame into the corner. Gonna give us a 2K. Finally, Fame into the kill feed. Flit burned into the gunfight. He's gonna pitch into Chopper, and a hold goes well for Outsiders.
Wow.
Fame with impact. It's come far and few between. He's died inside the tunnels a multitude of times. This one, however, goes easy.
Dude.
Holding off on car with 2.
As crazy as it is that these rounds were rounds where they ran into the site with 3 people, like 3 rounds in a row, Spirit have built up an insane economy here on T side. And things are cheap, so they're going to have a couple of buys left over, which means Outsiders have the hardest route possible to closing this out, and they're staring in the rearview mirror very close behind them. 3-round losses on T side. Spirit absolutely have hopes alive. This game is as close as ever, numerically, by the way the rounds have won. Another situation, though, where Outsiders play correctly, but this time they actually win. And Fame, like clockwork, right? He gets his kills, and then they win.
Yep.
Failing to do so on so many holds.
Finds its slot.
Oh, finally a walkout mid. Something a little different here for Spirit, and it's fast. It's very fast.
Love it, man. 4-man clump. Big numbers from Spirit through mid. Flit is going to see that presence. Fame, is he going to be able to shine yet again? He's stuck beneath the window. They're worried about the tunnels. Chopper's already pressing. Flip finds Patsi blind, and Fame's gonna keep on holding. Chopper, the only player on that push to come in with those kills. And now he's gonna need another 3. An ace mandatory, or Outsiders back to the 14-13 lead. We've got Jame on doors, a double in from tunnels, and Chopper's position, unbeknownst, he goes out and hits that quick headshot, but Norbert's fast as well, and Outsiders will succeed in getting back their lead.
Yeah, just imagine, well, Fame. I mean, all of a sudden, where was this? He's getting hard kills now. Flit's been good. He's been fine on the B side, but I like the idea from Spirit. They came through the fast split, different tempo this time around, put pressure on the same 2 players. James, the guy, hopping on the A site. They don't even bother looking for him. They figure out where he is, or they assume he's over there. There's been an early part of this half, it was Outsiders starting 3B a lot of the time, actually waiting for something to happen. So Spirit narrowly avoided it, and ironically, the one time they pick the right side with the least staff players, they just lose in the most flat-out fashion possible. And even their alert gets locked down as well. But just as talked about, still lots of money here for Spirit. Lots of money and lots of hope. They can go back to things they've tried in the past, and even if they might be getting out called a slight bit, they clearly have the better individuals, more consistent individuals today.
At least for the first 26 rounds. Fame shows up just in the nick of time, keeps Outsiders in the lead. Spirit though, right? That cache of round wins.
Oh, they're fighting for long.
Here we go. Wonderful. Right into it, but fired his feet, has to fall back. Vast majority of Outsiders over towards long out of the gate, and now they'll shuffle towards middle. And a nade finds its home. 30 damage versus magixx.
All their most dubious positions came with Spirit winning long control right away. And so they decided to send 4 there, not expecting anything fast to come. And now with long in their hands, I think they feel a lot better. But, well, look who's going to come out here. Actually, just a late attack actually from Spirit.
All right.
And there was no one who crossed pit, no one playing up close.
But they're nervous, and Flit looks adventurous. Patsi's holding this. If he can just rock the headshot, just like that, then man advantage here for Spirit. Oh, nade comes in from Catwalk. More utility pressure. They're not going to let this go, but they get tunnel vision. And Chopper puts a hole in the side of Norbert. Wonderful, scoped up on the site. Didn't see the peek beneath from Fame. Meanwhile, tunnels push, and Team Spirit are starting to slip into all sorts of crazy positions. Just going to apply pressure on long. This is going to keep Kicker occupied, and if he just gets kills, then all goes well. Fame too busy towards this A site to realize what's really going down. Mid belongs to Spirit, and Chopper, a masterclass call that clears Outsiders and keeps this game tight.
That was an excellent call to go for the late aggro on long. Again, it was something that Outsiders, they clearly wanted. They sent 4 there in the beginning. They wanted to take control of that, and they decided to kind of forfeit it with everybody thinking if they aren't going to do it right away, they're not going to do it at all. They were wrong, and they found themselves in that dubious position once again once they lost late long control. So Spirit with just a little bit of patience and the right amount of aggression, and they pull that one out of the hat. Now that's an idea where clearly you can see the thought process, they read it correctly, they win the round off the back of it.
And even if things didn't go that well, there was already backup plans. Layers in round 28 for Spirit, and it's the surface level that ends up winning. This time Wonderful decided to sit inside that angle a little longer because it wasn't set on fire, but the alternative is he just eats a nade to the teeth. So the heavy-handed Opper down to 46 health here in round 29. Somebody getting a 15th off the back of this one. Spirit will set their sights on mid.
Gotta say, this is still a prevalent gap for Outsiders. I'm so shocked they don't cross to take long control, sit in the doors, put really immense pressure in this position, leaving someone or even no one but clearing it out. But Spirit are not actually running into this direction. But at this point, their A side's still weak. Kicker here, 9 kills. He's only got a rifle to support this time around.
Yeah, Jame instead is preoccupied with mid. He's starting to shuffle around. Oh, Wonderful! He just gave himself a little bit of hip around that box. Flit's gonna take up the mid position. Bomb spotted. Tunnels push, and Fame falls to Siren. This could open up that door at the 25-second mark. Smoke's not going to cover them if they try to go up that ramp. They're going to need some kills. Patsy's pushed in. Norbert's caught wind, and down goes Patsi. Man advantage, but Chopper's in with another, and James going to close it there. Flits on truck, a missed op shot, but Spirit push into their demise. Death on the doorstep of the B site, and it's Outsiders to 15 first.
Yeah, they make it happen, man. It's so crazy close every single situation. But Outsiders take round 29 off the back of an interesting approach to mid. Talked about this before. Jame is going to find ways even on CT side to try to control things. And instead of coming in from the right side where Wonderful thought he was, he snuck in from the left out of CT spawn, which is a risk in and of itself. And Wonderful sitting tunnel side looking at spawn, he dies in that spot, right? So it looks easy, but there's some thought there.
Some limitations here for Spirit. Patsi relegated to the Tech 9. Utility near non-existent, and Flip powers up towards mid with Chopper down. He's going to call from the sidelines. Another barn burner of a match that could make a world of difference. Whoever loses needs an extra best-of-3 victory to get into the playoffs. And we already said limited slots. Room for maybe one and maybe none of these two teams. They've been spotted. The picture's clear. Outsiders hold the positions they need to just get this last round win.
Oh, man.
Flash in for Fame. He's going to take it by charge, but Wonderful, he's deep on plat, and I doubt they'll try and go for another aggression. Do not feed this Opper because he's been hitting shots all map long.
Yeah, so they know Wonderful is confirmed here, long plat. They saw 2 or 3 Ts, maybe just 2 holding. They're still partially worried about some kind of second late lurk, but you can see they're already thinking about either readying the flank or just dealing with a full long control.
No other choice. Time to press in. magixx with the Galil.
Molly's not good.
Norbert's up close, double smoke still up from Outsiders, 30 seconds on the clock. Desperation sinks in, Patsi, nice of him to take one down, and magixx at the half health. Norbert still holds this in, locks the kills off, and with this box, it's looking like the Outsiders win. Jame off of the boxes, now it's all over. Flit comes through, and sure enough, the Outsiders in spectacular fashion with exactly what you'd expect. It is grind after grind from Jame and his team. And it's Outsiders covered in the blood of their brethren as they'll lead